You are now tuned in to Papi Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
What we need today is young bloods and brains.
The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to Horror Hotel, a PapiChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive Papi Chulo Radio pop culture on demand. I am your host and hotel owner, Jeffrey Aruz. We're so glad you could check in. We've been dying to have you. Here on Horror Hotel, we're going to explore some of Hollywood's scariest, most frightening, and creepiest films. Please welcome my co-hosts, concierge supervisor, Legionnaire.
Oh, I couldn't take my eyes off his walking stick.
Oh. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, well, damn.
Night Auditor, Mark Estes.
Hello.
And Banquet Manager, Ramon Marquise.
Hello, welcome back. Good to see you.
Before we head on over to the ballroom, let's step by the front desk where one of our bellhops has a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Please step all the way in, and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now. I didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. The real chills come later. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Papi Chulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit papichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/papichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Papi Chulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. You may step into the ballroom. It's time for your feature presentation.
Thank you. It's time to fire up the film projector in our ballroom so that we can discuss 1941's The Wolfman. Here's the official synopsis of the film. A practical man returns to his homeland, is attacked by a creature of folklore, and infected with a horrific disease. His disciplined mind tells him cannot possibly exist. Alright, so you all know my first question. Has anyone seen this movie before? Who has and who hasn't ever seen this film? We will start off with Legionnaire.
I have not seen this movie before.
Mark.
I had seen it all the way through, but yeah.
Ramon.
Nope, never seen it.
And I had never seen it. So Mark had seen more of this movie than the three of us combined. There you go. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about this cast, and we have starring in the iconic role of Lawrence Larry Talbot, aka the Wolfman, as the opening photo credits spoiled for people, I guess. We have Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah.
Very, very iconic. Can I say that he looks like Benicio del Toro a little bit? I'm just saying.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, in my early days of sexual confusion, I was actually crushing on Lon Chaney Jr. for a bit.
Come on, old school crush.
Mhm.
We had Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot.
Now, is it me or did Claude and Lon look like they could have been brothers instead of father and son?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he clearly did not look like that they were father and son, but hey, it's all right. We worked with it.
Right.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? We had also our homeboy, Bela Lugosi, and I would call that like a cameo, because that was very fast, as a character appropriately named Bella.
I was all here for Bela Lugosi when I saw his name coming across, because I'm not going to lie, the part I saw was post Larry getting bit, but seeing Bela Lugosi, I'm like, oh shit, he was in this too? And I felt
Right.
like, like I need to have my car revoked because I had no idea.
And we had Evelyn Ankers as Gwen, our damsel in distress.
I liked her. I really liked her.
I did too. She was a quintessential Universal screen queen.
Mm-hmm.
And a shout out to Maria Uspenskaya as Maleva.
The fortune teller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She took me up too.
Loved her.
She was good. Was there anyone else in the cast that sort of stood out? Any of the other cast members that I didn't mention?
Ralph Bellamy, because I didn't know his career extended back that far. I forgot what I saw him in. That's the problem. I was like, where did I see Ralph Bellamy in? But I want to say it was Disorderlies, maybe, and I could be wrong. But I know that his name.
Ralph Bellamy was one of the guys from Trading Places as well.
Yes, that's probably another place where I remember seeing him at. I just remember that name, and I was like, hell, he looks like he's 40 right there, but no.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, in a good way. He looked like a good 40, not a bad,
Well, there you go.
Stop.
Yeah, he was kind of young. He was young and hot.
So let's get into this story. So basically, we are treated to, like at the very start of the movie, a definition of lycanthropy, which is werewolfism. And, it's basically this old legend and folklore of humans that imagine themselves as wolfmen. And basically, whoever's a victim of this, they assume the physical characteristics of a wolf. And the legend per this definition is that there's a small village near the Talbot Castle, which still claims that werewolfism exists, basically. And so then, obviously, like the next thing that we're introduced to is the Talbot Castle. And we meet the core cast, basically. And, let's talk about the sets, because, we're immediately taken into the Talbot Castle. So let's talk about all of the sets just in general. The Talbot Castle, the woods, the graveyard, the small town, the antique shop, all of it in general. What did we think of the various sets and the set design?
I thought they were pretty standard and typical for Universal studios at that time. I mean, the Talbots were clearly living large. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And in charge.
You're right. I love their home. I really like the very grand and fancy, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Like you said, you could definitely tell they were very well off.
I liked it. I mean, it was grand. I went to Carrington, but it looked like since they were like Wales, maybe Downton Abbey-ish, you know what I'm saying? But I was trying to figure out how did these Americans come over here and let me stop. I'm sorry. It's just I was like, okay, they're American, but they living good. They living great. Right. And, you know, so, and all that was his. That little small little village and stuff is going to be his one day. I'm like, okay, then, I see it. I can see it, but I don't know.
Yeah, the accents threw me off in the beginning because I'm like, okay, he's got a British accent, but there are all of these Americans in the town. And then all of a sudden they're gypsies.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, how the hell does that work? But I said, okay, you know, it's 1941.
Right.
Universal's like, look, we giving y'all this damn picture. Y'all just sit here and take it for what it is. And take y'all asses home and come back next weekend for the next picture we give you.
I guess basically.
Yeah, like
pretty much.
There were gypsies in Wales. I was like, okay, I guess.
Quite diverse.
Right, they got around.
Apparently, with their caravan. As far as the sets, though, I thought all of them like looked really good and were very well done, especially for the times. I always think like outdoor scenes, like when they do forests and stuff, they always look fake, but the fakeness always gives it a sense of realism. And I know I've mentioned that before, and it's a weird sort of dichotomy, but they look really nice though. They look beautiful and gorgeous, and even though there is that sense of fakeness to them.
Right.
Yeah, it always seems to work for the atmosphere of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably also because it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I kind of like the wood scenes for some reason, like you just said, they're fake. But I was there. I was like, you know, I bought into that, even though it's 2017. I'm like, no, because in Wales it's kind of foggy. I'm not saying like I've been over there before, though, but usually at night it's like I don't care what. Even recent Sherlock episodes have been filmed. It's like it's always foggy. It's like so I bought into that. It's like yeah, I can get that.
So, did people in the 1940s have short attention spans? Because we had to get that poem 3 times within the span of 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking like I know.
It was like okay, we get it.
Right, like we got it the first time. Like wow, like are you really finna give me this one more time?
And then another time.
Right.
Yeah, that was a lot. So okay, so you have Larry, and he's back home because of the death of his brother and all this kind of stuff, and he studies what was it? It was like he studies astrology, right? Not astrology, but astronomy. And so he is setting up this telescope, and he does a whole rear window thing on this beautiful woman in town. And so he decides to like go to the antique shop that's right below it. You know, because a lot of towns like that, you know, the people, they live upstairs above the shop. And so he goes to the shop and he immediately becomes a creeper.
Yes.
I was like, oh no, honey, your Mac game is not working because that is creepy.
He's never picked up a woman, apparently, because it was really bad and, like, really creepy. Like, you got any earrings? No, how about those earrings that you were wearing before?
Right. I was like, oh, what you doing? Baby, what you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I was like, okay, you peeping into the window. That's cool. I mean, that's like cool. I'm just saying, like, that's one thing because you just happen to saw this beautiful girl. But then you went into the damn next shop, like, yeah, I saw what earrings you were wearing, what drawers you were putting on, like, what was the coin purse. I saw all of that.
Very stalkerish.
Very. And she was like, what? Like, how did you know all that? Then she was looking at your goddamn window. What the fuck? I'm sorry.
And then not only that, but then he was like, okay, so I'm going to pick you up at 8. And she's like, no. But he's like, no, but for real, like, I'm picking you up at 8. And then she's like, no. But then he's like, no, but for real, like, I am picking you up at 8. And then she's still like, no. And he's like, I'll be here at 8.
And then went home and talked to his dad about it. He said, oh, so that's the girl's name. I'm like, you didn't get, that's the girl who works at the shop. I'm like, oh, you didn't get her name, but you going to pick up at 8.
Right, but you going to go get at 8 o'clock. Oh, like what? You gonna get her name once y'all wake up in the morning? I mean, what?
Yeah, that was weird. And so he ends up picking her up at 8, and she's all coy and shit, but then she's wearing the earrings, so obviously she was ready.
Uh-huh.
But she was not an idiot, because she brings a third wheel, much to his chagrin.
Right.
Smart girl.
Yeah, because
Jenny.
they made a date to go see the fortune tellers, the gypsies that sort of caravanned into town, and Jenny wants to get her fortune read as well.
I thought it was weird because, first of all, who wants to do that on a date?
Getting your fortune? Yeah.
Mm.
Especially a first date.
Right.
Because then they're like, y'all aren't supposed to be together.
Right. So that's going to be awkward as hell the rest of the night.
First date with a third wheel? Okay, I see how y'all roll over there.
Right.
Yeah, that was very weird.
And Jenny was like the quintessential, if Gwen was the quintessential like leading lady, then Jenny was the quintessential Lucy, or the best friend who always gets up getting killed or some way or the other, or injured or something.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
It's like, Jesus.
Poor Jenny. We'll get to her in a moment. But let's talk about Jenny first, and then I'll ask my questions afterwards. So Jenny goes, and she's getting her fortune read, and immediately the fortune teller, Bella, played by Bella Lugosi, is freaked out by the Wolfbane, and then all of a sudden Jenny's getting her fortune read, and he sees a pentagram on the palm of her hand. He freaks out, and she's like, what did you see? What did you see? And I'm like, well, he's freaking out, so obviously something. And he's like, come back tomorrow, and I will read your fortune. And then all of a sudden, he starts having some sort of fit type of thing, and Jenny screams and runs through the forest, and then she gets attacked by a wolf, and Larry ends up saving her, and he ends up like beating the shit out of that wolf, and he's scratched up as well. He ends up getting a ride home with one of the gypsy woman, and we see, once they investigate her death, that there's a man there, and it is Bella, who's been bludgeoned in the head to death. And so we all put 2 and 2 together. We also learned earlier that apparently a werewolf, that the next victim can be seen because they have a pentagram on their palm, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so Jenny was the next victim, but could she have been turned into a werewolf had Larry not intervened?
I think so.
But the way the wolf was shaking their body, I'm like, I don't know. I don't see no life for her no more.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't interested in biting her. He was interested in killing her.
Yeah, poor Jenny.
Poor Jenny.
She got that check, though.
Right.
She did.
So you are Larry, and you wake up the next day, and you're experiencing life. When do you realize something is wrong? Do you realize it when you keep on hearing that fable? Like, everyone just keeps on telling it to your face about the werepeople? Do you realize something is wrong when you get bit by a wolf and then you don't have any bite marks? Do you realize something is wrong when you can't shoot a wolf at the carnival? Or do you realize something is wrong once the gypsy woman tells you you're a werewolf?
I think for me, it would have been, clearly I know I got bit. and this is fangs. It's not like this is human teeth. These are fangs. But I don't got not one mark on my body.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been like not even a scratch, not even red, not even swollen, like nothing. Yeah, for me that would have did it.
Well, did they come in? Remind me. Did they come in and ask him like questions and be like, "Yeah, you said you beat up a wolf, but Jenny's body is." We found Jenny's body, but we also found a man's body, a gypsy, and we was a wolf. And then
yes, and then their excuse was, well, maybe it was in the dark, and so he thought Bella was a wolf. I'm like, what?
No, that's how I was shook last night. But that's what I think for me would have been like, okay, now I know good and well I saw a wolf. I held a pelt.
Right.
I held a pelt. And he was shaking me just as much as I was shaking his ass. So yeah, that's why I would have been like, no, something's wrong. Y'all gotta went back with them now. Y'all show me where y'all see a body. Y'all seen all these footprints.
Right.
Well, these wolf prints. So clearly I wasn't lying.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. He should have realized something was wrong. And I hated the fact that, like, the gypsy woman is like, you are a werewolf. Like, you should wear this. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't think so. And I'm like, but then he's like, Gwen, you need to wear this to protect yourself. And I'm like, dude, you should have been wearing that shit the whole damn time.
Right. It's like, okay, what are you going through? I mean, so now you believe it? You don't believe it? What? It's like, it was just weird. It's like at one moment it was like he wasn't buying anything she was talking about, but then he turns around and gives Gwen the necklace. It's like, oh girl, I need you to be safe. Here, wear this. Well, if you don't believe in it, then what are you protecting her from?
Yeah, that was interesting, and it was a weird little plot point, because I wasn't sure where his mindset was on like the whole thing. But then obviously he had to realize that something was going on once he made his first kill, and then he started having flashbacks. So, yeah. Let's talk about...
And
Wait, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss the part where Gwen told him from the very beginning that she already got a man?
She didn't tell him until, like, way later, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, girl, clearly he's macking you.
Right.
But somehow you just neglect to put out there, ooh, you know what? All this is real cute, but I got a man.
That should have been the first thing she said.
She really should have. She was actually on the date.
Exactly.
Yeah. When they went to separate because Jenny was getting her fortune, and then she was like, well, you do realize I got a man. And he was basically like, and?
What your man got to do with me?
Pretty much.
Right, because clearly she let it go. She let it go on far enough where he thought he had a chance.
But let's be honest here. When what was her boyfriend's name? Frank or Anderson?
Frank Andrews.
Right, when he walked into the screen, I'm like, basic. And so then she looked at Larry like, Larry got money. He has money. And then when Frank walks to the screen, you're like, oh, he's so basic. He's like, he screams commoners. That's why she was like playing that thing up. But I got a man, but we can swing this though. I just want to see if you ain't crazy, because you can have money be crazy, but so she knew what she's doing. Get that coin.
Yeah, it was very suspicious, and it was very funny on his part because Frank was basically like, you do realize like we're commoners, and he's like rich, so like what would he want with you, basically?
Right.
Dreams do come true.
Yes, that is true. Okay, so let's talk about Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams barging into the shop and making accusations about everything.
Yes, I look at this heifer right here.
Right.
Like she coming here talking about something. I need to know why my daughter was out because she's grown and making grown.
Right.
What are you doing?
She came in there doing the most. I said, girl, what?
She was so extra. Like, later, go somewhere.
And then once Larry bursts in, like, what do you have to say? And she freaks the fuck out.
I didn't get that though. I was like, what did I mean? Like, I didn't get that. I mean, I get it, but I didn't get it. Like, he just came back to town, and are you really freaking out? I don't know. It just threw me for a loop. I'm like, no, keep your resolve, keep your talk crazy to him. It's not like he can fire you or anything like that. Then again, I thought, well, maybe she does work for his phone and stuff like that. But
Well, that is true. But I love how, like, even though she was very, she was doing the most, she did put two and two together. She was like, well, you know, Larry Talbot, you know, came into town, and we never had no wolves, and we never had no murders. Like,
Right.
hello.
Like Larry Talbot come to town and my daughter dead. What's up with that?
Right, what's going on?
Yeah. Let's talk about that kiss. So, Larry gives Gwen the pendant that's supposed to protect a person from the transformation, I guess. And then she's like, well, you know, I need to give you something in return. And so they kiss. And then she looks all like, oh shit, what the hell just happened? And basically runs off.
Oh, she got moist.
Uh-huh.
And didn't know what to do.
the floodgates just.
She's like, let me go take care of that.
Right. She's gonna feel a little twitch, like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on?
That's too much. So let's talk about the transformation. What did we think of the effects and the makeup that was used to turn Larry into the Wolfman?
That yak hair gave me everything.
Yeah.
You ain't never lied. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was classic though. It was really classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they started from the feet up.
Right.
With the face,
Yeah.
they started with the feet because I think when he was sitting there throwing all his clothes off, you was thinking but he got down to his legs got hairy, and you just started from there and he moved his way on up until he got to the woods. And it was a big reveal, but at the same time it wasn't. It was just like, you know, here's Lon Chaney as the Wolfman finally.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like still like awesome how they shot that.
Yeah, I like the reveal too. I thought it was kind of neat how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bella turned into an actual wolf. He didn't, though.
Right. Yeah, Bella became a wolf, and Larry was more wolf-like.
Right.
Maybe they couldn't afford enough money for both productions
For
to
another
get
wolf.
Yeah, make another girl. Something like we could just use this one done
Right.
here.
This ain't our budget, so this is what we're gonna do here.
Yeah, because I was so hoping when I saw Bella, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a wolf, a werewolf, and a vampire in this Universal Monsters. I'm like, that's gonna be hot. But I thought,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know why I set myself up for that because Lord knows that they had tons of pictures of him in werewolf get up. I don't know. Naive on me.
So, the gravedigger gets killed by the Wolfman, and rumors start swirling in the town, and Larry decides to show up at the funeral, and the town is not having it.
No, they are clearly not having it. I was like, oh no, shade.
Shame. Poor Larry.
Yes. Yeah, they were casting tall palm trees. Poor thing.
So heading towards the climax of the movie, like, a lot of stuff happens. Like, Larry keeps on transforming. At one point, he gets caught in a trap, but then Maleva ends up helping him out, basically, in a sense. And then at the end, we see him like go full on attack mode to Gwen, and that's when his father ends up killing him. And we have that spectacular scene where Sir John Talbot sees his son transform from the Wolfman into his human form. What I thought was kind of neat is like throughout the film, the cane kept on coming back, because one of the things that we learned is that silver, any type of silver, can kill the Wolfman. And so this cane that very early on in the movie Larry bought from Gwen's antique shop just kept on coming back into the fold. So as like just talking about like the climax, what did we think of like the last quarter of the movie when Larry just kept on transforming into the wolf, and it seemed as if we were going to be heading into some sort of deadly conflict, whether it was Larry as the Wolfman dying or Larry killing someone that he cared about.
Yeah, for a second I thought that the way he snatched Gwen up, boy, I was sure she was dead.
She was shook.
Yeah, right. Snatched her right up, started throwing her around. I was like, ooh.
Right. Very aggressive.
Yes, very aggressive.
She probably liked it. I'm sorry.
She probably like. Why was she out there alone?
That's true too.
Just got to go after her man. But Cass, I'm not right. If she had the pendant on, did she even have the pendant on?
She was probably like, this is some bullshit. Like, she didn't wear it.
Got my neck hanging.
She was like, I like my little spangly earrings better.
Right. She probably left that thing at home somewhere.
Then the townsfolk went on a whole torch and rabble.
But she didn't even have a weapon.
Nothing.
Right. She just ran her little butt out there.
She's got a store full of canes, and she didn't even take one.
Right.
None of those canes revealed to be a sword at the end. Like, you just take it off and it's a sword. I don't know. I was just like, girl, why are you out there, like, for real? And I'm pretty sure you hit on some damn either kitty heels or some type of heels.
Completely just defenseless.
Yeah. Did any of you think that she might have gotten scratched or something, and then she was going to be like the wolf lady?
Yes. I thought that he scratched her or bit her or something, or even the dad. I was like, one of them got bit or something like that, because the way he was handling them, he was like, I'm going to take one of y'all down, but me, y'all, I'm not be the only person sitting here changed at night. I need a companion of some sort. So
exactly.
I was going to say, it was just tragic, and watching his father, come to the realization that he killed his own son was just, it was a good acting moment. Especially
by the son, that son coming home to mourn the death of his other son. So now he's childless. He has nobody.
Yeah. Claude Rains sold it. Like, his performance at the end, like the shock and the horror and the terror, like, on his face was really nice to see. Like, he really sold it.
Right. When he was watching them change, it was like, oh my God.
And then when Paul comes on in, he's like, oh, well, I guess, Larry must have died fighting off the wolf and that kind of thing. And like, Sir Talbot, like, he knows the truth. And he's like, I have no idea how the hell to explain this.
Right.
Exactly.
I really like the transformation effect. I mean, it's a simple effect, but I liked it. It's... multiple shots morphing into one, basically. But I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very neat to see him slowly go from the Wolfman back to Larry.
It was simple but very effective.
Yeah. There was one moment where he had his little afro poof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There were so many sequels to this movie. Had any of you
Yeah,
seen any of the sequels or any of the crossover films? I know that there's a Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and there was, I think, in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, the Wolfman appears.
Yeah.
Like,
that was my favorite.
I've
yeah,
never seen those.
and
I
he
never.
like
Sorry.
repeated the role. Like he kept on playing
Mhm.
the role of the Wolfman.
Oh, interesting.
And I did read up that all the I'm doing air quotes here sequels. He never got his own direct sequel. It was just like he was
Right.
in one of the other monsters movie or something like that.
Oh,
And did y'all notice that the moon had nothing to do with his transformation?
Yes.
And they said that and I think it was in the either House of Frankenstein or House of Dracula, his body was dug up by and the moon hit it, and that's what made him
Right.
arise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's how they explained him coming back to
Right.
life.
That's interesting. So I guess he's a werewolf zombie, technically, in the sequels.
pretty much, yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah, he did a really great job though. Like he sold it as Larry, and the transformation, like him acting very animalistic, was really good. Like just the way he crept around the forest, and yeah, like he sold it with his eyes and with his movements and everything.
Mm-hmm. Very believable.
Yeah, and with just, simple makeup and prosthetics, hair, and, it was very simply done as opposed to the CGI world that we live in now.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that's what's cool about a lot of movies from that time period. They were very simple. Technology really wasn't as advanced, but they were still sometimes more effective than some of the movies of today.
Yeah. Did any of you find it just almost funny how Maleva was always at the right place at the right time?
Right time.
Yeah, she always happened to be lurking somewhere about.
She's always out in them streets in the forest.
Yeah, yes.
Exactly.
Maleva's out in them streets doing her
Okay.
thing.
I like the scene where she was talking to the father, and she was like pretty much reading him. Like she pretty much read him, like, yeah, you're gonna need this soon, and you go ahead and search for the Wolfman. Yeah, you go right ahead.
Mm.
I like how she was like deadpan, like reading him. Like,
Right.
Yeah, she ended up chatting with all of our main characters in the woods that night, pretty much, because she had that scene with Gwen as well.
She got around.
She
girl,
did.
either you come with me or you're gonna get got by him. And Gwen ran out, and she's like, okay, fine, whatever. She's
She made her choices,
Mhm.
just like
Yeah.
Jenny.
Yes, absolutely. Hashtag choices.
Yes. Shout out to
Right.
Mrs. Williams. Let's get into. Wait, actually, before I get into awards, was there anything else that you all wanted to discuss? That any plot points or anything that I did not touch?
No.
Okay.
No, just that I noted that the poem actually originally was not what I remembered, but then they talked more about that as I read about the movie. It says the last line is, even a man who is pure at heart and says his prayer by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. But in subsequent movies, it's been when the moon is full and bright, which kind of lent itself to the full moon being the catalyst for the change. And all that. So I thought that was really interesting too.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Let's get into awards that this film has received, or any sort of accolades that the film has received. As far as any awards and whatnot, the only award that the Wolfman has is actually a modern day award from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films in 2013. It won a Saturn Award for Best DVD Blu-ray Collection. the Universal Classic Monsters, the Essential Collection, which included The Wolfman, along with Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Mm.
And of course, it did leave a lasting legacy because, as we mentioned, Lon Chaney Jr. did reprise his role as the Wolfman in 4 sequels. But we have our own awards to give since we are in the ballroom, and our awards are more important, I would say. And we're going to start off with the Scream Queen.
The Scream Queen. Oh, I'm gonna give mine to Jenny.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, she was
Jenny.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good Scream.
Yeah, I would co-sign it.
Yes.
Who's the ingenue?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be a good choice.
Can we give the feminist icon to Maleva?
That works for me.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was-
I like it. The Read of the Night.
You know, Sir John had a couple of good reads in the movie when he was when they were investigating. He was like, "You policemen are always in such a hurry, as if dead men didn't have all eternity."
Oh, mercy. Yeah, that's true. That was
Yeah,
a
that was a
good
good
one.
one.
And he had another read. He had another read about Larry's profession. He's like, all astronomers are amateurs. When it comes to the heavens, there's only one professional. I was like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
I like it. What about the Prudence Award for Weirdest Sexual Moment? I nominate Gwen running away after the kiss.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
The Kill of the Night.
It was Jenny because she was shook. She was shook.
Because she was shook. What about the Gravedigger?
He was strangled a little bit. He got a little nip on the neck and stuff like that. But no, when Bella got hold of Jenny, it was over. It was like a
Yeah.
Yeah, Bella hadn't eaten for a while.
The done deal.
The best usage of a cheesy special effect.
the transformation. Would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, definitely the transformation.
Yeah.
Especially since we didn't really see the facial transformation till the end. They just gave us the feet in the beginning.
The most non-politically correct moment.
Mm.
Anything with the gypsies?
Mm.
Or what did you think? Did you think the gypsies were treated that well? Sort of like just the usage of gypsies and gypsy stereotypes?
I don't believe they were treated that well back then.
No.
Yeah. But I believe for the fact that, because I was going to ask you guys there, but it kind of slipped my mind. When Mrs. Williams was accusing Larry of being like the catalyst for all the recent
Deaths and stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, how long have them gypsies been there? You know, so have
Right.
they always been there? Because Bella clearly,
No, they come into town. I forget. Gwen mentioned it when the caravan, when like Bella and Maleva came to town at first. She referenced the fact that they always come in the fall or something like that, and they stay for a short amount of time, and they read fortunes and blah 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 and that kind of thing. The reason why more gypsies showed up was what Maleva told the priest. You know, that's their way of mourning Bella's death.
okay. Because I was like, I guess my point was I felt they were well treated because they weren't the scapegoats automatically for what was going on. If that makes any sense. They weren't automatically like, okay, y'all weird, y'all have all this, supernatural crap going on, and y'all believe in all this unchristian stuff, so we're just gonna just put everything on y'all. It was just like, no, this dude's new in town, he gotta go. So that's, to me, any other situation has been like, let's go find the gypsies and see what they got going on because we don't like their kind here. So
Right.
Yeah, the only person that really said anything sort of slightly disparaging was the priest, because he was like, you and your weird traditions, and Maleva was like, we've been doing this for like thousands of years, so that's what we do. Oh, we have to give something to Mrs. Williams. The See You Next Tuesday Cunt Award.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry she lost her daughter, but she was She was not nice.
At all.
And now we're presented to her by throwing it at her.
Throwing it at her. That's funny. Now it's time to rank the film in our special Horror Hotel categories. We have 5 categories. The first one is the Screamer for movies that are filled with scares. We have the Gut Buster for movies that are grotesque. We have the Eye Popper for movies that are visually impressive. We have the Gravedigger for films that lack scares. And we have the Mind Blower for overall best in show. So you may mix and match the categories. And we shall start off with Ramon.
I don't know. I just really liked it. I think I want to give it. I think I want to do best in show. It's just something that gravitated me towards the movie. I like the simplicity, but how effective it was. I know with some of the previous movies, I just felt like, oh my God, it had nothing scary, nothing at all. But I think this had some moments here and there. Not to say I got shook or, real scared.
Like Jenny.
Right. So that's why I think I would give it best in show, yeah. I was pleasantly impressed with the movie.
Legionnaire, what about you?
I'm going to give it an eye popper. I think this one was an eye popper and a mind blower. I definitely liked the movie overall. Outside of the nostalgia around it, and I liked it. I thought it was shot well. I liked it visually. It looked really well, and still holds up for me.
Mark, what about you?
I just want to put out here that another disclaimer. I have a big thing about werewolves and vampires. And werewolves they kind of inched their way above vampires as of late. So me revisiting The Wolfman, which sort of started it all, I love it in terms of the werewolf factor, but for me, I would have to give it a Gravedigger. I hate saying it only because I want to give it an eye popper. I can give it both, but I just wasn't scared. I was just genuinely like to see where the werewolf legend began, where it really took off. So it's an eye popper and a Gravedigger to me. I wasn't scared, more along the lines of like, this is a story, a tragic gothic story. And in the veins of like Frankenstein and Dracula, where the story was interesting, but it didn't like have me just like nightmares and stuff. So.
Are you also giving it a Gravedigger because the Gravedigger died?
I was like, that was the sacrificial lamb. Somebody had to go. He had to be him. So
yeah. Nobody knew his name, so it's fine.
Right.
I'm going to give it an eye popper and a mind blower as well, for all the reasons that Legionnaire eloquently stated. It was visually stunning and just awesome and amazing overall. So now let's rate the film on a 1 to 10 hotel room key scale. The point system is allowed. And we will start off with you, Mark.
I would give it an 8.5. 8.5. You know what? No, screw that. I'm going to make it to a 9.5 because I love werewolves. I'm sitting here flipping through the werewolf book right now, which gives all the history of the werewolf in cinema and stuff like that. So I love werewolves. So that's why I'm jumping up to 9.5. And it's Lon Chaney.
Legionnaire, what about you?
This one easily gets 9.5. 9.5 keys for me. I thought it was a very classic horror movie. I loved it visually. I've always had a thing for Lon Chaney. So, it gets 9.5 for me.
What about you, Ramon?
For me, I think for all the reasons that I give it, the whole best of show category, I would give it 9 keys.
Okay. And I agree with you, Ramon. I'm going to give it 9 hotel room keys as well. I thought it was a really, really fun and interesting and suspenseful movie. I Enjoyed all of the actors. I think everyone brought their A game. And it was a nice, fun popcorn movie. I liked it.
Yes, indeed.
So on that note, please drag your bodies away from the ballroom and prepare to check out. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Horror Hotel. Once again, here's one of our bellhops with a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Panpichulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Panpichulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit panpichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@panpichuloradio.com. Help support Panpichulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/panpichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Panpichulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@panpichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Panpichulo Radio programs by visiting panpichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Panpichulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. We hope you've brought your death certificate. Make final arrangements now.
Thank you, my fellow Horror Hotel team. Please wish our hotel guests and the listeners a good night.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in. You may have checked into the Horror Hotel, but who says you're allowed to check out? Good night.